feet close. My hips are gonna come out. I'm gonna hook his leg up. Once I get up on top of him, rocking chair and twist, then you just move him. Boom. Grab the belt, wrap, and now I'm in a good spot. All right, see the back. I know his goal, so just block it. And as he tries to come around it now, I just close up the triangle. Like that. All right, guys, how we doing? It is time for class. Happened to be here today, working on tearing stuff down. Kyle's here to help me. So Heather needed a break from all this back stuff. So I'm gonna use Kyle today. Kyle, look pretty, man. Yeah, there it is. Kyle, Corona free? Corona free. He was telling me earlier. He said he was going to joke about it. No, he didn't do it.
Not me. I'm Corona free.
All right, let's scoot back a little bit. All right. So, guys, as you come on the video, do me a favor. Remember to like and comment on it. Although the comments, for some reason, aren't showing up anymore. Basically, Facebook said, you know what a good time is to mess with our live feed is when everybody's trying to use it because they can't do their normal stuff. Stupid Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg's the worst.
Anyway, guys, so the point of that is that I can't see your comments or questions, at least not yet. So maybe try, and if I do see them, I will happily respond to them in a moment. But if I don't see them, I'll respond to them later. Quick review of yesterday. We worked our basic escape. So let's just look at that. We're working on escaping the back. We did a week of the back. We talked about basic defense, right? Elbows high, or the offending arm is coming. Let me borrow this. It's coming here. That elbow's high. Because let's turn this way. Because if I keep that elbow low, he's going to strip that grip and get his leg involved. The minute he does that, I'm in trouble. Okay? So I want that elbow high to defend, and then it makes it harder for him to do that kind of stuff. We talked about falling away. Let's turn this way now. Away from the choking arm. Reverse shrimp the hips. Boom. Come out. Pressure. And inside control. We talked about that one primarily. We did a couple others. We did our parachute escape, but that was the main one. The one we're going to do today is a little bit fancy. And we're going to do it and end up in this weird kind of like backwards crossbody position. And we're going to go to the back from it. We're going to just go to regular crossbody from it. And we're going to go to like a triangle or omoplata. But let's start with a little bit of a drill to help both warm you up and what am I trying to say? Oh, to prepare you for the move. I don't know why that took me some extra time.
I would have never said that, by the way.
Yeah, you're like, I have no idea what you wanted to say. Let me see. I think I can see comments now. Yes, Dan Pratt says, hey guys. So definitely put your comments, and I'll be happy to do them or to help you with them. The first warm up or drill that I want you to do is the teeter totter. It's real simple. Bring the knees to the chest, extend the legs, and just come up. So this motion we're going to be using a lot, especially in the first move. What'd you say about that move, Kyle, as I come up over you?
It's a lot of man coming down on me at one time. I don't know if that's
all right.
If that can be applied to everybody, but
so from here, you're just going to work on twisting. So you're just going to turn, touch, turn, touch, turn, touch. Notice that my bottom leg extends. I don't know if we're able to see that. Bottom leg extends. Just touch, 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 touch. All right. So those are two movements that are going to be very involved in this. And then the last one we're going to do is a hip escape. The hip escape, you're going to have to be very dramatic with it. So a lot of times I see everybody going, okay, I'm hip escaping, I'm shrimping. I want you to be dramatic. Think about taking your ear to the ground and your butt as high as you can get it, and then coming back. And this is going to matter for the escape we're going to do. So if you're trying these already at home, let me know if you're getting them. If you're not trying them, then let me know. So the first thing we're going to do when we escape the back here, it's going to be a unique escape. We want to look for his leg. And this is a better escape done early, meaning that before he's like tight and attacking your neck, you've got to protect the neck first. Once you've got the neck protected, then the rest will fall into place. I'll have you back up just a smidge, guy. So, grab please. We've been protecting, and at my neck I feel safe. I created that same space we talked about yesterday. Now what I can do is I can come to my side and start looking for his leg. Okay? So, if you can't reach it, sometimes you're like, my arms are too short, or maybe he's pulling tight. Look, turn your hips and walk it to you. Now you have it. Now we're going to do that huge hip escape that I talked about. Bring your feet close. My hips are going to come out. I'm going to hook his leg up. So we're in kind of like an inverted position here, an inverted side control, or like a top version of the truck. So it's kind of unique. You should feel like you can move his leg around. And then the other thing I want to make sure is that I am relatively 90 degrees to him. So we'll look at this at a different angle as well. But this is kind of the control I want, and I can always reach here and grab his collar. I'll let you see that grip here in a moment. Let's go this way. So look, if I go early, I can always get that leg, come out, look. Your top leg will hook first, your bottom leg comes in, and I'm going to grab his collar. Can we see this grip? Okay. Now, this is the position I get into. And I like this position a lot. In fact, in Brazil, I was doing it, and it was, black belts training, and he was really concerned that I was going to knee bar this leg, right, the one that I'm holding. And so he quickly pulled it out as hard as he could, boom, and I just went here, and then I did knee bar. So it wasn't going to get knee barred until he did that. So it's a unique position that people aren't really used to being in. Let's look at it one more time, maybe from this angle. I don't know how well you guys will see, but maybe you can see the hip action. And then there's a couple places our hips might end up. So come over, boom. Top leg's in, bottom leg's in. And sometimes you come over and you're just here, meaning that I don't have that leg. Can you put your leg down, please? I don't have it, straighten it up. I don't have his leg controlled. That's okay. All right, that's perfectly fine. You're okay here. But this is the position we want to be in. Now, if we look at different positions, we're going to turn about 45 degrees more. Look at my hips. That's perfect right there. My hips right now are on the ground. Okay? And that's not terrible. There's options from here. But I want you to understand, we're going to do a couple different options. We're going to do two options actually, for my hips being on the ground. One where I attack, the other where he tries to come up. And we're going to do an option from getting my hips on top of him, because that can lead us to side control. So the first thing we're going to do is that option that leads us to side control. Coming in, escaping, boom, I've got his leg. I don't have to have it for this, it's just helpful. And I am holding his collar. For me, it's helpful. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull him and put my hips right on top. Once I get up on top of him, rocking chair and twist, and you're up. Now, it may take a few movements. Remember, you're going to be fighting, right? Like, they're not going to just lay there while you're holding. They're going to be moving too, and a lot of times they're trying to move like underneath you or doing weird things. So it's a situational thing. If I get my hips on top, then I'll do this, where I can just basically rocking chair and turn. One more time. Trying to think, we're going to end up facing this way, right? So let's do it here. I just want you guys to be able to see the grips too. Boom, come in, hips come out. I'm already controlling. And we're in here. And look, sometimes I adjust the leg to where it's easy to get. Like, don't feel like you have to have it perfect right away. All right, so right here, my hips are not on him. And this is a product of me just being a bigger guy. But if I can get my hips up on him, which I can do by releasing this leg and kind of just pulling myself up on as I move him under. See how I'm up on him now? Whee! Now I'm going to kick and turn. So it's going to be this action and this action, kind of at the same time. So it's pretty uncomfortable for Kyle. And what's kind of keeping him there is the fact that I've got his grip and everything, or I've got this grip on his collar. All right? And like I said, there's options for if he decides to back out and make sure that I don't come up. But from here, just turn and you're up. So that is the first option from that position. Any questions on that one? Let me see what we got. So that was the first option, or an option. That's the option where if my hips stay on top of them. The next option is if my hips hit the ground and I decide to go on the attack. And there's a lot of options from here. You could go to knee bars, you could go to a lot of things. We're going to re-attack the back though. By the way, in case you don't know, if you're a member of the Pedro Sauer Association, which is pedrosauer.com, you register, then you have to go to your email and pay the $50 for the year or whatever it is. But if you go to there, these all come from James Gardner, and he's teaching them on their on that site, these exact moves. So that's going to be a good reference for you as well. And he's a little more fluid than me. He's a lot smaller than me. So especially for like that first one, he's really way better at it than I am. So let's look at the second option. And we'll just start there. So you just lay down.
Okay.
Okay, so I've escaped the back and I'm in this position right here. The next thing I can do is I can try to start taking the back. All right, but I need to get to a point where I can see it first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach across, by the way, little toe hold action right here. I'm going to reach across, grab the heel. Okay, at the same time I'm going to pull him. It's almost like I want to make him do like a back roll this direction. So here, all right. As I see his butt lift off, you guys see that, this space? That's what matters. As I see that, that's when I can start to attack the back. So I come under, I get a grip on whatever I can. His belt is ideal. And the reason is now I can kind of keep him off the ground a little. Once I get to this position, the bottom leg, that's the one that's hooked on the outside of his leg, is going to come in. I'll show you. So here, boom, wrap. Now, both legs release. I pull him around my shin, and I'm pinched. Here. Boom. Okay? At this point, it's super easy to just start taking the back. I'm going to pull, drive. I can see his back. When you can see the back, you can take the back. Start coming up, boom, and we're in. So I think I misspoke. I think I said the bottom leg's coming in. It's the top leg that'll come in. Let's look at this from a couple different angles. So we're here, I'm controlling the collar, and I feel like he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. So I come across and grab. All right. Now it's like I want to try to force him into a back roll. I'm going to pull, get a grip on anything I can down there. It might be the gi, it might be his belt, whatever I can. Now I said bottom leg, it's my top leg comes in and I wrap it around my shin. And he can tell you that's like catapulting him over. There's another detail that this foot is stomped, and I'll show you that in a minute. But it's like I'm trying to force this other one to the ground. And as I do, see how he starts to turn? I'll release the belt, get like a horse collar, and just start working my way up. It's facing that way. Let's do it facing this way. I feel like we're disappearing in those mats right there. Those are normally our like frame of reference. So we come down, hook, come in, You're here, control. Here. All right. This leg, the top hook, will be the one that goes underneath his leg. I can see that I'm very close to the edge, but I'm going to be moving that way, so I think we'll be okay. So, cross, pull, look for his belt or anything you can. At this point, you're going to be like, he's kind of stuck on me. That's when I pull out, and I work to hook him right here. You're kind of in a truck at this point, just so you know. And you want to get almost 90 degrees to him. All right? Now, see how this foot is planted? That's acting like a ramp. My leg is acting like a ramp, causing him to go up. If it's down like this, not nearly the same, is it, Kyle?
No.
See? But when it's up here, it like forces him to rotate. Because this leg is driving like that, like I'm trying to put my foot to the ground. And if you watch James do it, like I said, he's a little guy, so when he does this, he actually gets both feet to the ground and keeps a lot of pressure. Boom, but I'm driving. Shoop. Now I start looking for the back, horse collar. Okay. As I go, this bottom hook will come in here. And now the top hook goes in, and I can get my grips. The collar is very readily available there, so you should be looking for that collar. I'm trying to think of what angle is going to give you guys the best view of him from the front. Look.
I don't think we've gone you facing this way.
Yeah, so I'm going to face away, move through it, and then I think at the end I'll be able to talk again. But just so you guys see the angle. Yeah, I think this will end us where we want. I'm controlling. All right, my hips aren't on him. So this is the option I usually go for, quite honestly, because my hips are very rarely on top of someone there. Pass it. Look for the leg, or look for the gi, I mean. And I can't explain enough that this action right here with my legs coming this way, that's key. That helps move him. Boom. Grab the belt, wrap, and now I'm in a good spot. All right, see the back. Come get it. Look, I might underhook the arm to help me, and this is where I'm going to end up. Right there's the collar that we want. So that's a really cool option because it takes you from having someone on your back, and then you end on theirs. That's a really neat thing to be able to do. Let me check the comments.
That's one of those jiu-jitsu magic moves where it looks like I didn't have anything that I could do there.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough for me to, it looks like I could do things there, but realistically, going through that, I don't have many options.
Yeah, it's really tough. Really tough to deal with. That's why I like it, but you kind of got to be early on it to get to it. Definitely the stuff we went over yesterday is more bread and butter, right? Like this is, once you got that stuff and you understand when to start escapes, that's when these things will work. All right, so let's look at the last option from here. Just lay down. Perfect. And this arm, I say the last. This is the last one I'm going to go over today. But there's all kinds of things you could do. So I'm in here controlling, and Kyle's a tough guy. All right? And maybe he frees his leg. Free this leg, please. Boom. And he says, I'm just going to come up. So he starts to come up. Go ahead. Yeah, you don't like that? I keep this knee wide. So now when he tries to come up, go ahead. We can triangle. We can set it up. Now he was like, I don't know if I'd come in there, but I didn't give him any other option. All right, and we'll look at those little things I did there in a second. But now he starts to come up, and of course we can finish our triangle like we normally would. Let's take, I'm trying to think of the best, I think putting your head that way will give them the best view of what was going on with the legs battle there. So maybe put your head right here. Perfect, and I'm just going to turn you about 45 degrees. Very good. Okay, so I'm in here controlling. And look, you might even set it up, okay? Remember, all of your jiu-jitsu should be setups. And you could be like, ugh, like you're trying to take the back and then make, oh. And now look, he comes up. The trap closes. All right, I've got his arm contained. And look at the other thing that's happening here. Sit, lay down, please. I've got a grip over top of his arm. I'd prefer not to be in here, under his arm, because now he grabs me back in a way that's useful, right? Whereas if I'm over top, you might get a grip on something, but it's not nearly as useful. So from here, he's either going to force his leg free, or maybe you let it come free, and he starts to come up. Boom. Look for that triangle. Top leg comes around. All right? If he's trying to grab outside, so do it like you did originally, don't let it. All right? Just don't let that arm come up. I just put my leg in the way. I feed him my leg. Look, he tried to grab my leg now. Don't let it. Boom. Give him no option but to come inside. Then when he makes that mistake, boom, we got him. And then start letting him come up. Release his leg. As he starts to come up, I lift the hips. And we're going to finish the triangle as normal. Remember, when you finish a triangle, it's a triangle, not a try to choke the guy in front of you. Right now, if we were on a clock, both of our heads are pointing toward the 12. I want my head pointing toward, like, ideally like the 9, but I've got big legs, so usually I have to settle for like the 11 or the 10. But I'm going to come up and grab my ankle. Guys, I'm a pretty big guy. If I can reach up here and grab my ankle, you can too. All right? Put my other foot on his hip. Turn. Almost like I'm trying to look through his ear. Bring my knee to his head. And then lock. And we talked about the triangle 2 weeks ago in online class as well. So let's look at this from maybe a different angle. You lay that, yeah, the exactly opposite. No, that's the way we did it over. Lay this way. I'll back up. And actually, turn 180. I'm not used to putting my back toward the camera. So,
Nobody sees Bill Jones' back.
first time anybody's ever seen my back. Actually, scoot that way, Kyle. There we go. All right, so again, I decided to set this up. He's trying to come up on top. Look, from right here, if he's reaching up in, like outside over here, I don't want that. So the minute I see that, I know his goal, so just block it. And as he tries to come around it now, I just close up the triangle. And the thought is, well, what if he decides not to come up? I think that would be a bad idea. You know, I think I'm just going to pinch. So look, let's say he decides that laying here and not coming up into the triangle is the right thing to do. Do not allow this to happen. That's not ideal. Although you can come up to a mounted triangle easily from here. But let's pretend that we intercept that. If you ever want to give someone something to grab, that's a good idea too. Like, he goes to grab his hand. like if I just do this, how does he grab his hands together? I gave him my hand to grab. I just put it there. You know, like even if he doesn't grab it, like keep your hand open, like just stay there. How does he grab his hands together? And now look, I pinch my knees as hard as I can together, and the opposite the direction of the thumb is where the arm bar is going to be. Or he decides that, okay, I do want to come up. He comes up, and we finish the triangle. Okay? Guys, if you have questions, make sure to post them so I can see. We look like we're good. So if you haven't been watching on our YouTube channel, I put up a good reading list today for anybody who's interested. If you didn't know we had a YouTube channel, it's Top Level Jiu-Jitsu. Pretty easy to remember. Am I forgetting anything there, Kyle? Oh, I do want to show you one other thing here. From the beginning, this one's for Logan when he watches, and any Loganites that maybe follow Logan. Turn, come in, boom. I go here, and I open, and now I just let him put his arm in, and he comes up earlier than what I expected. Before I get my triangle, maybe he leaves his head to the ground. Now we can just go to an omoplata situation. So that's an option as well. All right. All right, guys. Well, it's kind of all I have planned for you. So I hope that was helpful. Kyle, do you have any questions?
No, not particularly.
Yeah. You know, if you're looking for someone to train this kind of stuff on, I know it can be hard sometimes, especially if you don't have like extra family members. But even like a child, you can even do these things on a child. You're gonna have to coach them through what to do, and maybe coming up over the top might be a tough one. But Professor Sauer always says he likes to do training with kids because it teaches him to not use any muscle or any strength in the move. I mean, if you think about how you would apply a choke on a little kid, you're not going to just be like, there it is. Unless his name's Kyle. We choked him, yeah, but when you were like 13.
Well, I was a pretty big kid.
So, you know, think about that. And if you can do it on a child, you're gonna have to understand the mechanics very well in order to do it in a way that makes sense. Now, if you're like 280 pounds and they're like 60 pounds, obviously there's going to be some size discrepancies there. But something like this, there's no reason you can't do it. I think that you just got to be super gentle and work it with your kid. So that's another option there. Of course, you've always got the wife. And then what you could do is you could say, okay, hun, you train this jiu-jitsu stuff with me, and then at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., we'll tune into Cindy's channel. Cindy Roenick has a channel it's called Jiu-Jitsu Self-Defense with Cindy. And she's doing like women's self-defense classes in there every weeknight at 7. So that's a really good option. Oh, what does that say? Kylie's like a child, or Kyle is like a child. Yeah, you're not wrong, Mark. Don't tell him that, though.
Who said that?
Mark.
Mark.
Wrestler Mark.
Okay.
You making notes?
That's not somebody I want to mess with.
Yeah, he's a good guy. All right. Guys, I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the chat or online. Are these classes helpful to you? I mean, even if you're just watching them and like, I can almost smell the mats. Like, is that at least helpful? Is there anything specific you want me to go over? If not, I'll just keep going over the stuff that I'm going over. But I want to make sure that you guys are getting something out of it as well. So don't forget, subscribe to Top Level Jiu-Jitsu. Join the Jiu-Jitsu Self-Defense with Cindy Facebook group, and maybe your wife can do free Jiu-Jitsu lessons, free self-defense lessons. It's a lot more self-defense focused. But, I really appreciate everything you guys are doing. I don't know how else to say it. Guys like Kyle who work here, like he still has a job because of people like you. So we really appreciate your loyalty and your faith you've put into us. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great one. Oh, wait. Can you please choke Kyle one more time? Why you guys want to see Kyle get choked? Love you all. Bye.